and those parents who are also joining are most welcome. It is a very interesting journey. Those who keep a little interest in these subjects, maths, physics, and chemistry, and those who are aware of the school type handling of these subjects. Looking into our questions of MPI will be a very interesting journey for you. Coming back to little about myself, I've been in academics for the last almost 35 plus years, right away from 1986, continuously training students for school level maths and science. And then eventually from 1998, we specialized into competitive exams. And till date, I'm doing that, training students for state board scholarships. Currently, I'm the lead trainer for teachers of MCGM, Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai. Through them, we conduct teacher training programs for all over the schools in Mumbai. I happen to be the lead trainer of the program, and there's a team of about 8 to 10 teachers under me over there. And I'm with M. Prakash Institute as a faculty in chemistry for the last almost 10 years, over 10 years now. And this program happened by chance when we were talking. I happened to be in a very highly education-oriented family. Sunil Sohani sir and Prashant, my son, we all are very much interested in teaching, and we've been running an institute in Mumbai from 1998. Now most of the activities have gone online. So this program got shaped up on a very quick note, and we are really thankful to the authorities of M. Prakash Institute, Subodh Pethe sir and Sunil Chinchanikar sir, to give us this platform to interact with you, and very kind of them to put up our flyer on the website through which we could get in touch with you. So, and more than all this formal introduction of mine, I love children. I like to be with children. I like to interact with them and discuss whatever I know in the best possible way. It is 7 o'clock, and let's formally begin our session now. We will be discussing the paper for January 2023 today, and April 2023 in my next class. As you must have seen on the flyer, each one of us will be taking two sessions, 2 of physics, 2 of chemistry, and 2 of maths. So today in my first session, we will be discussing January 2023 paper question by question, and whatever little theory that can be associated with that, we will try and associate. As you may understand, it is not possible to cover the whole theory, and that is not needed also, because children are in 10th standard now, and surely they have gone through the syllabus of 8, 9, 10, which happens to be the syllabus for Can you see the syllabus on the screen now? This is the syllabus of 8, 9, 10. Can you see the new page? Prashant, this side?
Yes. Oh, 8, 9 list है.
Oh,
Correct.
correct. Huh? So this is the syllabus in chemistry. The syllabus for our entrance exam is strictly 8, 9, 10 topics of SSC, CBSE, and ICSE. So for all 3 subjects, the questions will nowhere go out of these 3 textbooks. But if you see the questions, you will be surprised many a times, and you may feel that the questions are out of syllabus. They are not. They are just asked in a different way. And that is exactly what we will try to tell you, how to look at the questions and how to navigate back from the question to the theory. So what I have done is I have given you all the topics. I'll be sharing this document with you. All the topics from 8th, 9th, and 10th of chemistry of SSC, CBSE, and ICSE. So this will be the total scope of syllabus. Nothing outside this will be asked in any of our papers. And to make things easy, I have grouped the chapters from all three boards and all three standards, subject wise also. So that is a very advisable reading. Instead of reading entire 8th standard book, entire 9th standard book, entire 10th standard book, it will be nice if you take one topic. For example, structure of atom you want to read, you can pick up SSC, and all these books are available, their PDFs are available online. So no need to buy. If you are an SSC student, you will already have the SSC books. CBSE, ICSE books you will find on net. Free PDF downloads are available. No need to buy any of the book. So if you want to read, say, structure of atom, this is where you will find everything about structure of atom. SSC chapter 8, chapter 5, standard 8, CBSE chapter 3, 4, standard 9, ICSE standard 8, chapter 2 and standard 9, chapter 4 covers anything and everything about structure of atom. Now, over here, if you start with, say, SEC Standard 8, Chapter 5, there will be repetition because the curriculum is same. So, there will be repetition. You can skip that repetition or you can read it as another way of looking at the same topic. Choice is yours. But definitely, the very few subtopics which may be addition to what you have read from your earlier book, focus mainly on that, because sometimes that part is picked up by the examiners कि ICC की ये book में corner में कहीं तो ये information दिया हुआ है, तो we are having the liberty of asking the question on that because that comes under our syllabus. So it will be good if you read the chapters topic wise, so you have a complete overview of acid base salt, then everything about acid base salt. You know that this is my scope of acid base salt. That is how you can use these textbooks. That is the first thing. And after going through the entire syllabus, if you must have gone through our papers, MPI papers, which you must have seen on our website, many a times you must have felt that this question is out of syllabus. If you carefully see, you can backtrack it to some standard, some topic, some lesson. So it is going to be an exercise for you to first read the question, navigate it to which part of theory it is coming, and then do the forward reading in that direction. If you study school like that, you have read the lesson, you by hearted the definitions, you by hearted a few questions, theory questions, then you saw questions written under the textbook, you wrote down the questions written under the textbook in beautiful handwriting, and you feel you have done the lesson, you are not prepared for MPI entrance. For MPI entrance, these are some smart tips that I would like to draw your attention to. Very first tip is that every answer is a two-digit number, and chemistry is more of a theoretical subject. See, maths as it is, every answer is in digits, in numbers. But in chemistry, there are so many, or physics for that matter, there are so many things which we want to check the theory part of it. Whether a child knows which is the smallest element in the periodic table, or whether a child knows which is the most electropositive element, or so many things, but we are converting those questions into a two-digit number answer. Remember that. So if I want to check which is the most electropositive element, I will say that write the atomic number of the most electropositive element. Then I know that you know the name. So when you are reading the theory, you must think for every sentence how this question can be converted into a numerical. How this question can be converted into a numerical, because that is the format of our exam. And uh, at the same time, there will be no definitions or any laws that we expect you to reproduce word by word over here. The cognition part of it, What you have understood at the end of that definition will be tapped in our questions. Every question is 0099. And in some question, if you get a hint like enter, if your answer is A, enter A by 2 or A into 2 or A by 3. What does that indicate? If the answer is saying enter A by 2, then there is a possibility that the original answer is not a two-digit number. So to bring it to two-digit format, we have to add that extra thing, that add A by 2. So this kind of an instruction in the question comes as a hint. This kind of a hint comes, this kind of an instruction will come as a hint to you. That means my answer will be, or if we say multiplied by 2, maybe it is an answer in decimal, and by multiplying by 2, the decimal factor is going. Or write the first two decimals of the answer, then you know that it is an answer with a long decimal number. So you have to take such hints, subtle hints, which will help you navigate the same answer. And you have to know the theory. Look at the questions. There will be listing questions. We will try and analyze every question. And then backtracking from the question to the theory, as I say. That after you have read the question, think from where it has come. And then realize for yourself, ki, oh, on this theory, this question can come. Understand the texture of the questions. They are not school-like questions. Then you will be able to read the lessons more consciously. डोळसपणे वाचायला शिका. नुसते धडे वाचायचे नाहीये. You have to ruminate on the concept. Dig into the concept. Then multiple concepts may be used in the same question. One concept that you have learned somewhere in 8th standard in some chapter may be coupled with some concept that you've learned in 10th standard in some chapter, and a question that expects a combined understanding of both the concepts may be designed. So you have to be a real learner, because we are choosing the forthcoming IITians. So we have to see those qualities which are needed in an IITian. And application and cognition are two major qualities that have to be present in a child who is aspiring to be an IITian. So we check those qualities at a very baby level in the students, and those students who show that quality, or those who have that quality, will be able to enjoy our paper, not only score. Appreciate the beauty of the question. Arey, kya mast question, ye theory pe ye question. That is how you should. Now, the advantage of 0099 pattern we discussed, that the question will be a two-digit number. The disadvantage is that if there is any answer between 0099, even if it is wrong, you have no clue. MCQ, there are 4 options. So one of the 4 options is the right answer. Here, your ground is 00 to 99. So 100 possible answers are there. So even if you get some wrong two-digit answer, you don't have any hint as to that this could be the wrong answer. That is one disadvantage. Second is your final answer is what is going to give you full marks. So it is double or quit. If you've done some question correct till the last step, and you've made some mistake in the last step, you have not interpreted the question correctly, you've made some small calculation mistake, slight mistake, and you enter a wrong answer, the papers are digitally checked. We are not checking the papers manually. They are checked by machine. So you have entered a wrong answer, you will get a big 0. There is no partial marking. In subjective checking, if you've done everything correct till the last step, only the last answer is gone. Out of 5, you may get 3.5, 4, 4.5. Here the calculation goes in multiples of 5. You are right, you get 5. You made a small mistake, you are gone by 5. So you have to score 50% in this kind of a race. It is definitely not going to be very easy. The challenges are going to be there, and you have to really study very well with full heart. And after that, even if you get selected or no, if you've studied well, what you've studied will always remain with you. That is not going to go anywhere. So study with your full heart. Don't feel afraid or don't feel nervous or anxious that in this much competition, 300 students are sitting and only 20 or 25 will be selected. कहाँ मेरा number लगने वाला है? Who knows? If you've really understood things well, and if that day is your day, you may get selected. Even if you don't get selected, you take away something well. So study, give your 100% so that after the exam, you should not have the regret. कि अरे मैं थोड़ा और करता तो शायद कट थ्रू कर जाता. So give your 110% in the next whatever 8-10 days we have. Keep your 10 board studies aside for a time being. Even if some of you all have your prelims going on, that is not your final board exam. Okay, you still have some time after your entrance exam to pick up for whatever you have lost. And a child of a caliber of MPI can pick up the 10 standard board exam paper and all that like a whip. If possible, I want to make a workshop on paper solving techniques also for your 10th exam. That is the latest. Okay. Now coming to the paper analysis. To help you, what I've done is for every topic, major topics, right from 2012 to the latest paper, which question is from which topic. So you wish to revise periodic table and periodic trends per se. Then these are the questions that you should look at. Read all the theory related to periodic table, periodic trends, then study all these questions very carefully, understand how the questions are designed, then look at the solutions, and then make up your mindset that to check what the examiner has designed the question. What is the question setting strategy that the examiner gets in his mind that I wish to check whether the child understands this, whether the child has understood definition of this, whether the child has understood what is the meaning of an alkene or alkyne or whatever, and then around that a question is woven. So when you read the question, you have to go from the question to the soul of the question, you can say. कि क्या पूछने के लिए ये क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था, that you will have to figure out, and then it will be a very interesting journey. So for every topic now, I don't think you can have a better what you will say spoon feeding than this. That this topic, these are the questions. This topic, these are the questions. And kindly do not fall into any analysis of paper कि ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री पे 5 क्वेश्चंस आ गए इस साल, फिर मोल कॉन्सेप्ट पे 3 आ गए, तो ये टॉपिक लेस इंपॉर्टेंट है, ये टॉपिक मोर इंपॉर्टेंट है. नथिंग ऑफ दिस सॉर्ट. There is no paper pattern. That also, if you observe, you will not be able to make any paper pattern. So you have to be thorough with all the topics in these 3 years textbook. At the same time, there is no need to look at any extra outside material. If you become thorough with the textbook, that is all the theory you need. Those are all the tools that you need. How cleverly you can use those tools, that will be tapped in our questions. So no need to refer to any extra book. Pick up any ICSE book of any author, because all of them will have the same content. Any CBSE book, any SSC. SSC book is only one. CBSE and ICSE may have multiple authors. You can pick up any one of them. The content will be same. Okay. So these are some basic instructions, and those who can very consciously use these instructions, they will definitely have a cutting edge over others. The competition is very high. So those who will work consciously, those who will work on the tips that we are trying to give you of looking into the question, of landing on the answer, they will definitely have a cutting edge over the others. As we've already expressed that the time is very short, each of us is going to spend only 4 hours with you. So in that 4 hours, most definitely entire theory cannot be touched upon. But if we channelize you, if we orient you कि ऐसे देखना है question को, you can revisit all the papers and read the papers with different glasses now. Change your vision of looking at the question, and you may find something that will give you the hook to solve the questions in the real exam. Okay. Let us move to the paper of 29 January 23. In this paper and even our next Thursday's paper, every question I have given you from where the question has come. So backtracking from the question to the theory, I have done for you for these two papers. You can do it for yourself for the rest of the papers. Now, some people are asking, will we get such a document for physics? Will we get such a document for math? No. What Prashant sir told in his physics session, I'm not repeating. He has given some different hints, some different strategies of cutting through the exam, which may be physics specific or general. What Sunil sir will give in his Saturday lecture will be again something different, which will be math specific or general. And what I have given you, now you can extrapolate it if you like this, कि हाँ, this is a must idea, कि syllabus planner होना चाहिए, तो physics maths का आप करो अपने आप. We are just giving you guidelines, and we wish you work head over heels for the next 10 days. दिवस नाही, रात्र नाही, सकाळ नाही, संध्याकाळ नाही, झोप नाही, तहान नाही. पिसाटल्यासारखा अभ्यास केला तर 10 दिवस कमी नाही आहेत. इन द राईट डिरेक्शन. आंबा पाडायचा पण आंबा उजवीकडे आपण डावीकडे दगड मारतोय, उपयोग नाही. उजवीकडे राईट डिरेक्शन मध्ये दगड मारा, आंबा पडू शकतो. ओके. So question 1 of 29 January 2023. What is the molecular mass of the third homologue of ethylene? Understand the layers in this question. What are the things that you need to know? First is, you must know what is ethylene. So in first place, you must know alkane, alkene, alkynes, and then the basic nomenclature of hydrocarbons. Then you must know what is the meaning of a homologue. And then you have to find the molecular mass. Finding molecular mass of a substance is something that we have done in 8th standard. But definition of homologous series, it comes in 10th standard, chapter 9, page. I am giving you SSC reference. Wherever I've started with SSC. Wherever I could not find a reference in SSC book, I have gone to CBSE, ICSE. Wherever I could find a reference in SSC, I have given only that. You will definitely have similar context in ICSE, CBSE also. So we must first know what are alkenes. It is ENE. So alkenes will be the compounds which have at least one double bond in them. You can dig further over what is a double bond, what are the types of bondings in double bond. One is a sigma bond, one is a pi bond, one is a strong bond, one is a weak bond. But it is a double bond. That means two electrons from each carbon are shared to make the bond. These are the alkenes. Alkanes are single bonds and alkynes are triple bond. And then we have certain prefixes to decide or to identify how many carbon atoms. If we are talking of a double bond, can we have a compound with single carbon? Most definitely no. With single carbon, there can be only methane. For ethane, if I want a double bond, I cannot have single carbon and double bond. So the lowest compound is it with 2 carbons. And now the IUPAC name of this will be ethene, but ethylene is the colloquial name. So there is one more glitch over here. Those students who will get confused कि अभी ये ethylene कहाँ से आ गया, हमें तो ethene पता है. So this is one more thing. You're supposed to know the colloquial names of some basic compounds. Once again, the name of this must have come in your textbook somewhere. We are not using a single word out of your text. So ethylene is nothing but ethene. And what is a homologue? Starting from the first member in the series, we go on adding CH2 to get the next member, and such members which have the same functional group but a difference of CH2 in them are called as constituent homologues. So C2H4 will be the first compound in the alkene series, and the third monologue will be C3C4C5. And if it is an alkene, then we must know that the general formula for alkene is CnH2n. The number of hydrogens in an alkene are twice the number of carbons. So if it is the third homologue of ethylene, please understand that don't count from ethylene. Then you will land up on C4H8. Okay, this is the original compound. C3 is the first monologue, C4 is the second monologue, C5 is the third monologue. And then finding the molar mass. For molar mass, what do we need? I will need the atomic mass of carbon. Okay, one more very important thing. Please do not learn the atomic masses. We are not expecting you to do all the learning by hearting thing. Okay, all the necessary theory, atomic masses of the elements which are appearing in our paper will be available in the useful data on the top of the paper. Okay, so do not learn atomic masses. You must know how to use the given theory on the top. Nobody is expecting you to learn atomic masses of elements. So you will find the atomic mass of carbon given as 12 and that of hydrogen as 10. So H10 will be 10 and C5 will be 12 into 5. Answer will be 70. Enter it in your bubble sheet by darkening 0 on the units place side and darkening 7 on the tens place. This is how. Suppose your answer is a single digit number. Suppose your answer is 5. Then you are going to enter it as 0, 5. So units place darken 5, tens place darken 0. So every answer has to be finally expressed as a 2-digit number. Okay. First question. And now don't stop there. ये question समझा. आगे जाना है? No. Think of other questions that can be asked on a similar ground. Now can I find the homologue of other type of organic compounds? If I start with some compound, say aldehyde, what will be the first aldehyde? Methaldehyde. Then the homologue, next homologue, you always add CH2 group to it because one carbon gets added. When one carbon gets added, along with that, 2 hydrogens get added. So if CH3CHO is the HCHO is the methylaldehyde, then CH3CHO will be its first analog, first homologue. C2H5CHO will be the second homologue. So if you've understood one concept, then how you are going to use that in similar other questions, thought exploration. Now here they have asked the molar mass. Can they ask the number of, because see, every information has to be converted into a numerical information. So if we want to check whether you've understood that C5H10 is the answer, we may ask you how many hydrogen atoms are there in the third homologue of ethylene. We may ask you how many carbon atoms are there. We may ask you the addition of carbon and hydrogen atoms. Kuch bhi. Any numerical conversion of the answer which will help us identify कि आप लोगों को समझा है कि answer C5H10 है. That will be the use of the theory done to design a particular question. Any doubts on this, or can we move to the second? Now coming to the second question, please take a paper and pen notebook and note down whatever we are talking because we are not going to share the presentation with you. You will have the question paper. The answer key is there somewhere below the question paper, but you will not get this explanation that you have to do for yourself, or you can take down as we are talking. And those who are happy in understanding the question and they can do the paperwork themselves after the lecture is over, nothing like. So don't just be copywriters. Now, an element X belonging to the third period of the modern periodic table has the tendency of forming amphoteric oxide. Identify the element. Now, what we need is actually क्या पूछना है हमको, वो कौन सा एलिमेंट है भैया जो थर्ड पीरियड में है या जो एम्फोटेरिक है, लेकिन हम लोग नाम नहीं पूछ सकते. सो वी आर राइटिंग identify the element and write the total number of electrons in its valence shell. Will it be a unique value? Will two elements have the same number of electrons in the valence shell?
No.
They will not. No or yes?
No, ma'am.
Valence shell में what is the number of electrons in the valence shell?
6.
Valence shell of third period, according to the group, if you see the third period, which all electrons will have the same, which all elements will have the same number of electrons in the valence shell?
3.
What are the valence shell electrons?
The number of electrons in the last shell, which
Last
were
shell. So will this number be
6.
same for what number is going to be unique, which will not be shared by two atoms or two elements?
The valence electrons of it.
The total valence electrons or the atomic number is going to be a unique property. No two elements will have the same atomic number, but will two elements have the same number of valence electrons? Can two elements have the same number of valence electrons? Same
Yes.
number of electrons in the outermost shell?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Which are they? Which elements will have the same number of electrons in the outermost shell?
The ones in the same group.
The one in the same group. All the elements in group 1 will have one electron in their outermost shell. But will there be more than one elements having one electron in the outermost shell in a period?
No.
No. So when we are talking about a particular period and we are asking the electron in its valence shell, the answer is going to be unique. In a period, there will be only one element having a particular number of electrons in the valence shell. Period 2, group 1, 1 electron. Group 2, 2 electrons. Group 13, 3 electrons. Are you getting this? So even if there will be more than one elements which will have the same number of electrons in the valence shell, this answer is unique because we are asking the element in the third period having those many electrons in the valence shell. So there will be only one element in the third period having some particular number of electrons in the valence shell, and the examiners want us to identify the element. What is the property that they are giving us? Tendency of forming amphoteric oxide. Now, first of all, we must know all the third period elements. What are the things that we expect you to know? We don't expect you to know the entire periodic table, but it will be really good if you can memorize or remember the first elements up to atomic number 20, up to calcium, 1 to 20. So first period, second period, third period, and fourth period, only two, potassium and calcium. That is one thing, if you can remember, nothing like it. Then if you can remember the S and P blocks, that will be also really helpful for you in figuring out some questions very quickly. Otherwise, the same questions can be figured out from the atomic number and position of the element and all that. But if you know these names, elements by name with their positions, then many a time you will be better at landing on the answers compared to others. Now, totally, this is a 3-hour paper in which you will have 10, 10, 10 questions in each section. So, total 30 questions, and you have 3 hours with you. Okay, that is 180 minutes. Now, Definitely, maths and physics questions may claim more time because there will be problem solving in it. In chemistry, very few questions will actually claim that complete 5 minute slot. You can finish most of the questions in 1, 2, 3 minutes. You can use that time in your physics and maths. Okay. But you have to have a thorough knowledge. Now, coming to the third period, if you know what is the third period, well and good. If you don't know the third period, you can understand what is an amphoteric oxide. It is there somewhere. Where it is there given? 9th standard, 5th chapter, page 67, definition of what is an amphoteric oxide. So ये यहाँ से उठाया, फिर ये periodic table से उठाया, दोनों को जोड़ दिया, question बनाया. So amphoteric oxides are those oxides which behave as bases with acids and which behave as acids with base. Which behave as bases with acids, which behave as acids with bases. They are amphoteric oxides. And if you slightly remember one thing, that we always say that the oxides of metal are basic in nature and the oxides of non-metals are acidic in nature. This amphoteric oxide is going to be somewhere in the metalloid section. These are the metals giving basic oxides and these are the non-metals that are giving acidic oxides. So if you are not aware, if you know that aluminum is the element, you crack the question in 30 seconds. Aluminum. Then if you don't remember the atomic number of aluminum, that you will get in the reference above. If you remember the name aluminum, but you are not very sure about the electronic configuration of aluminum, position of aluminum, then you can see the atomic number above. And if the atomic number is 13, what will be the electronic configuration?
3.
Total
Sorry,
electronic configuration, shell
2,
break,
3.
2, 8, and 3. So the valence electrons will be 3. So if you remember aluminum 13, then you crack the question in 30 seconds. If you don't, you can think. If you have read things properly, then you can figure out. But you definitely need to know the meaning of the word amphoteric. That is not going to dawn on you in the exam suddenly. But once you know what is amphoteric, even if you don't remember, even if you want to guess now, you will feel like guessing from group 13 and 14 because 15 onwards you have non-metals and 1 and 2 are metals. So there is a very low chance of going wrong here. You may write, and once again, you have no hint as to the answer is 03 or 04 because both are one-digit answers and you don't have MCQs options in front of you. So a good knowledge of periodic table, I will recommend you to know the first 3 periods properly. And if you can remember their atomic numbers or if you remember their positions, you can very easily identify their atomic numbers. So that is one thing that will go in the memorization part. But please do not by heart definitions and all for our exam. You will need to do that for your subjective writing in your board exams. But we don't need such things in our exam. Reproducing the definition, writing the law word by word and all that, that is not exam. Now, what are the other questions that can come on this theory? अभी amphoteric oxide का definition हो गया. So what will be acidic oxide? What will be basic oxide? What will be acidic basic salts? What are the valence electron of all groups? What are the valence electrons of the D group? What are the valence electrons of the F group? What are the other details of first, second, third period elements? Do we have some element which is the biggest in size or smallest in size, or which is most metallic? Are there any very specific tags to some element which will be used? Are they given in the book? Would I want to highlight that? For example, the most electropositive element is cesium. The most electronegative element is fluorine. It is given somewhere. So a question can simply be write the atomic number or write the atomic mass of the most electronegative element or the most electropositive element. So simply I know that this is the most the element which is most now what you can say with the highest electron affinity. I don't know if those properties are done or not, but these are the things which you have to explore around the question that is given. This is how you need to study. Don't just read the question, read the solution, ha, samjha, samjha. No, think, deeply penetrate into the question, deeply penetrate into the similar questions, because same question will never come. Same question will never come. Mark my words. If some question has come, probably read it as, हाँ, ये तो नहीं आने वाला. ऐसा दूसरा क्वेश्चन आ सकता है और ऐसा दूसरा सेम टू सेम नहीं आने वाला है. उसमें कुछ ट्विस्ट होगा, वर्डिंग चेंज होगा, बट द क्वेश्चन दैट एक्सपेक्ट्स दिस अंडरस्टैंडिंग. सेम क्वेश्चन पक्का नहीं आने. तो अब ये क्वेश्चन आ गया है, एलिमेंट एक्स बिलोंगिंग टू थर्ड पीरियड विद एम्फोटेरिक ऑक्साइड. ये क्वेश्चन 100% नहीं आएगा. Because if such a question comes, I have been in the paper setting group of MPI being a faculty. If we find a question repeated because we contribute the questions and now I'm out of the paper setting group because I'm coaching you all. So this year I'm not participating in the paper setting to keep the process clean. But if a question comes repeated, we cancel that question. कि ये पहले आ चुका है, इसको नहीं पूछना. And hundreds of questions can be designed. All our teachers are expert at making unique questions. Okay. Any doubt in this question or can we move ahead? Are you getting the vision of how to look into a particular theory now? And if you're feeling ki आता 10 दिवस उरले, probably you're the most fortunate because this is going to be your peak time when the pressure will be maximum. Those who did the program 1 month ago, they must have gone into a complacency zone की अजून 1 महिना आहे करूया. तुम्हाला वेळच नाही आहे. You have to start studying from tonight. Make a schedule of for the next 10 days how much time you will devote for maths, how much for physics, how much for chemistry. Give that much time. रात्रभर जागा, अभ्यास करा. डोंट लुक लेफ्ट राईट. बिंदास अभ्यास करा. फक्त परीक्षेच्या आदल्या दिवशी व्यवस्थित झोपा. डोंट गो ड्राउझी फॉर द पेपर. दॅट विल अफेक्ट युअर परफॉर्मन्स. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Calculate the mass in grams of these many molecules of hydrogen gas. Now, mole concept is definitely going to be a key topic because once you know the concept of mole, that can be used in various places to design a problem. Moreover, when we want numerical answers, we can convert any question into a mole question. Like I want aluminium, I can ask something, I will make aluminium into a mole question. Any theory we wish to tap, we can put a cover of mole on it and throw that question. So this definitely becomes probably the most important topic. And grind on the concepts of mole very well because anywhere this concept may be used of mole. Now here, mass in grams of these number of molecules. Whenever you get number of molecules, it is the Avogadro number. 6.023 into 10 raised to 23 is what the Avogadro number, or 23 or 22, whatever, into 10 raised to 23 is the weight of 1 mole of hydrogen will be the molar mass. That will be 1 mole and it will always have these many molecules. All of us are aware of the Avogadro number. Now here, one more small hint that over here, they are just asking mass in grams of 18 into 00066. So all I need to do is 18.066 upon 6.022 into 10 raised to 23. That will give me 30 moles. How many moles are we talking about? And therefore, the answer will be 60 grams. So here I can use the complete value of Avogadro number in decimal because it is simply a division. But some places where we are doing numericals, for the matter of convenience, we would want you to use the value of Avogadro as 6 into 10 raised to 23. And this will be clearly mentioned in the useful information above. So if the useful information gives the value of Avogadro number as 6 into 10 raised to 23, use 6 into 10 raised to 23 for your calculation. That is going to make your calculation friendly, number friendly. Don't want to put you into some number crunching, decimal multiplied by decimal. That is not the job of chemistry. That is the job of maths. Maths वाले देख लेंगे कौन सा number crunching आपसे कराना. For us, what is important is that you've understood the chemistry in the problem. And therefore, to make the calculation number friendly, many a times we will recommend you to use the value of Avogadro number as 6 and not 6.022. So whenever a numerical comes, please check if the value given in the useful information is 6, use 6 as the value. Whatever answer comes with 6 will be your expected answer on the number sheet. If you find it with 6.022, you may get some decimal answer and then you may enter the wrong numerical integer part or a decimal part in your answer, and unnecessarily you will go wrong. Even if you have done all the calculation correct, because you have not used Avogadro number as 6, you will end up with the wrong. So this is one small precaution you must take. Otherwise, this is not a very difficult question. If you know that 1 mole of a substance is mass in grams and 1 mole of a substance is Avogadro number. Now, proceeding further, what are the other questions that can be asked on this? The mole triangle is something you need to study and master very, very well. Because like here, we are expecting you to convert mass into number of particles. In Avogadro number, you always talk of number of particles. If it is atom, then number of atoms. If it is molecule, then number of molecules. If it is ion, then number of ions. For example, if I say 1 mole of water, it will have Avogadro number of molecules of water. And 1 molecule of water has 3 atoms, 2 of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen. So 1 mole of water will have 2 moles of hydrogen and 1 mole of oxygen. So how many hydrogen atoms will be there? 2 into Avogadro number of hydrogen atoms will be there. And total in 1 mole of water, there will be 3 into Avogadro number of particles or atoms. Please understand this. If it is Na2CO3, there are questions like this. 1 mole of Na2CO3 has 2 sodium, 1 carbon and 3 oxygen atoms. So it has 2 plus 1, 3 plus 3, 6 atoms. So if I take 1 mole of sodium carbonate, I'm going to get 6 Avogadro number of atoms in 1 mole. How many molecules? Avogadro number. How many atoms? 6 Avogadro numbers. So read the question very, very carefully. And interrelation of Avogadro number, mass and volume of the gas at STP, standard molar volume, is 22.4 liters. Any gas, you have to नाही मध्ये दोन तास पण आणि रामायण लागत नाही आपल्यासाठी जस्ट अ मिनिट गिव मी नाही असं मी लावून ठेवणार Okay, very sorry. We'll pick up for this time. So, 6 atoms of Na2CO3 is 6 Avogadro number. Now, coming to the molar volume of gases. Whenever we are talking of gaseous volume, we have to mention the temperature and pressure. And the standard volume has to be there in standard temperature pressure, that is 1 atmospheric pressure and 0 degrees Celsius. So, any substance, any pure substance in gaseous form at STP, 1 mole will measure 22.4 liters. This is the molar volume. Now we all know the metric conversion. Meter, centimeter, kilometer, how we do the jumping. Similarly, you must know how to jump from particles to mass to volume. Molar mass, 1 mole is mass in grams. It will have Avogadro number of particles, and its volume if it is a gaseous substance, not if it is solid or liquid. Generally, even if we measure liquid volume, generally we will use this volume aspect only for gaseous substance. So you should be able to jump from this to this to this, and that will be checked, that some value will be given in this. जसं आपल्या स्कॉलरशिप एक्झाम मध्ये असतं की नाही, की एक व्हॅल्यू सेंटीमीटर मध्ये दिली जाते, एक व्हॅल्यू किलोमीटर मध्ये दिली जाते, and one the answer is asked in meters. What is the best way to do? Convert centimeter to meter, convert kilometer to meter, and then compute. If you find the answer in centimeter, you will have to convert the final answer in meter. Or if one value is in centimeter, one is in kilometer, and you convert the km value to cm value, again you'll have to convert it into meters because the answer asked is in meters. So use that funda over here, that see that in which unit the answer is asked, convert everything to that unit and then calculate. If one information is of volume in liter, one information is of mass, and answer is asked in particles, convert both to particles first and then compute. What you get will be your answer, and maybe the numbers are such designed that when you've converted them in the correct unit, the number crunching becomes very easy. Calculation also, every time you don't have to go to the last step. You can leave some things like that and they get cancelled eventually. So smart calculations are needed, and that will save your time. So definitely with this one question of Avogadro number, you're not just going to read that question and then go ahead and forget the story. Think what else can be asked on it. Now अभी यहाँ पे mass in gram molecule पूछा है, तो क्या वॉल्यूम पूछ सकते थे गैस का, तो क्या और कुछ पूछ सकते थे. There are so many things that you can think over with one question, and that is exactly how we expect you to read the lessons with penetration. Do not get hasty and be happy by just verbal understanding of any topic. Those who can cognitively internalize a question, they will be the better contenders for whatever remaining seats at MPI now. Any doubt in the question, or can we move ahead? Who has drawn this line? Can you rub it, please? Okay. Now, the next question. Calculate the total number of neutrons in one atom of the element with the smallest atom from the following list. Now, what is this expecting? How will you identify the smallest atom? If you observe Mg, Al, P, S, Cl, You don't know where these elements are lying in the periodic table. With the help of their atomic numbers, you can definitely understand that they are coming one after the other in some same period. If you look at their atomic numbers, if you know that this is the third period, nothing like it. That's why I say that it is good if you know the first three periods and up to 20, potassium and calcium, because not many questions will come below that. If some question is coming below that, we will specify it. We are not expecting you to know the remaining periods by heart, know the D block by heart, know all the lanthanides and actinides by heart. But it will be really good. Not that we want you to know it by heart. We will give you some information by which you can land on the answer, even if you don't give it by heart. But if you know it by heart, you will speed up your answer. So if you know this is third period, you will know that these are the elements falling one after the other in the third period. If you don't know, the atomic numbers are given. So you will be able to identify. Now these are the elements going from left to right in the third period. So we want you to identify the smallest atom from the list. So what will be the criteria? Periodic trend that
Atomic
gives you
size.
the size of atoms. Which will be the smallest atom and why? Can anyone explain?
Chlorine will be the smallest atom as atomic size decreases across the period from left to right.
Correct. Now, definitely correct. You're right. Can anyone explain why atomic size decreases from left to right?
Because of attraction between electrons and protons.
Yes, and that happens everywhere. Then why across a period it goes down?
The
The
nucleus.
number of protons increases.
Sorry, Anvi?
The number of protons increase.
Number of protons is increasing, and what is not increasing? Number of protons increases from top to bottom in a group also.
The number of
Shell-
shells.
Electron
number of
get
shells is
yes.
Shell.
Electrons also increase ना, proton वाढलं की electron वाढतो.
the
काय
number of
वाढत
Shells.
नाही?
Elect
Shells.
Shells,
The
नाही.
number of electronic shells.
Shells are not increasing. What happens in one period? Third period.
electron get added to same shell and
Yeah,
thus it experiences more force.
perfect. So what happens is from left to right, the number of shells remains same in the third period. There will be 3 shells in all the elements from left to right. And what is happening? Number of protons in the nucleus are increasing. And that will increase the electrostatic force with which they will attract the electron. Now for every proton, 1 electron is increasing, so the balance is maintained. But what happens is that protons are gathered in the nucleus and electrons are scattered. That is why even if there is equal number of protons, electrons, these many protons are going to impact on one electron at a time. And therefore, more the nuclear charge, greater is the attraction, and therefore the electrons will get attracted. They will get shrunk more and more from out to in, reducing the size from left to right. But they have given only up to Cl. नेक्स्ट वाला नहीं दिया है. Which will be the next element?
Argon.
Argon. What will happen for argon? Will it further reduce?
there will be 8
Will it
Balance.
further reduce?
atomic size.
It will increase
No.
for argon. That is why it is not given. So the size reduces from left to right from group 1 to group 17, but it increases for 18. Can anyone think of why?
Because it's a neutral
All atoms are neutral.
It is a stable
Because
element, ma'am.
octet rule
Octet
is
is
satisfied.
At octet rule is satisfied. So what will happen?
it is a stable atom, so it won't need any giving or taking of electrons.
Yeah, that is why it will not form compounds. But why it will increase in size? Why it will increase in size? या 7 तक तो size reduce हो गया था, अभी अचानक क्यों बढ़ने लगा? Okay, very quickly I'll explain. I hope we don't fall short of time. If we fall short of time, I can take extra time. I can sit up to 10 o'clock also, or we can have extra time next time. Why the size increases for group 18? See what is happening when an electron is entering. First element, what is that first element? Sodium. Sodium has only one electron in the outermost shell, third shell. पूरा घर है, उसमें सिर्फ एक इलेक्ट्रॉन है. It is not experiencing any repulsion, any opposition. अकेला बादशाह. Magnesium, there are 2 electrons. Little repulsion has come. But even if there is a slight repulsion, the shell is still too big. Shell is still too big, so they can comfortably have their safe space. अभी तीसरा आ गया तो रिपल्शन और थोड़ा सा बढ़ गया पण दाटी वाटी झाली की नाही गर्दी गर्दी व्हायला लागली की नाही ढकला ढकली सुरू झाली लोकल ट्रेन नोबडी इज देयर देन सीटिंग आ गया फिर स्टैंडिंग आ गया फिर ढकला ढकली आ गया as the number of electrons go on increasing what happens is that electronic repulsion is increasing and repulsion will throw the electrons away but the attraction of the nuclear charge is more than the repulsion of the inter-electrons. Therefore, the size keeps shrinking from 1 to 17. But by the time there are 8 electrons, the repulsion has become so high that it overpowers the attraction of the nucleus and therefore it shows a swelling. The electrons are throwing each other away, but they are not that, what you'll say, disconnected that they'll break off the shell. They cannot break off the shell because of this nuclear attraction. But they are spacing themselves because if they come closer, they are going to throw each other away due to the electronic repulsion. गर्दी बहुत बढ़ गया, full है. So that effect of repulsion is seen as increase in size in group 18. Till then, it is always the vector effect. The electrons are repelling and the nucleus is attracting. The final result is the vector effect. If the nuclear power is more, there will be shrinking. If the electronic repulsion is more, here it overpowers and therefore the electrons repel and therefore it shows increase in size. Yes, Hardik, any doubt?
Then why does it have more ionization potential if the electrons are loosely bonded compared to chlorine?
Yeah. What is ionization potential? Can you define?
The amount of energy required to ionize or remove one of the electron from the outermost shell.
Right. So who will be more willing to give an electron? जिसके पास unwanted electron है या जिसके पास most wanted electron है?
Unwanted.
तो unwanted electron जिसके पास है जैसे सोडियम के पास है तो वो सस्ते में बेचेगा कि महंगे में बेचेगा?
सस्ते में बेचेगा.
तो वो सस्ते में बेच देता है. कोई उसको 5 डिग्री एनर्जी दे दिया, चलो ले लो मेरा इलेक्ट्रॉन, मेरा घर खाली हो गया. What is the case for the 18 group? It is the most wanted electron.
Yes,
so first of all, it will say मेरे को बेचना ही नहीं ना, जा तू भाग. और अगर बेचना है तो बहुत ज्यादा प्राइस लगाऊंगा, मैं क्यों सस्ते में बेचूं?
हाँ, लेकिन उसका साइज बड़ा है ना.
साइज बड़ा है लेकिन ये वांटेड है ना, शेल कंप्लीट हो रहा है. The octet is getting completed, so it is the most wanted electron. The wanting of the electron increases from left to right. The electron starts becoming more and more wanted from left to right. Sodium, it is most unwanted. Then slightly wanted, slightly more wanted, slightly more wanted. तो दाम बढ़ता जाता है. So for the 18 group, it is the highest priced.
Okay.
Okay, got it?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So this is how. So Cl is the smallest. Now over here again there's a small glitch. They have given Cl 1737 isotope. So some of you who are still a little bit confused, the number of neutrons is not going to change. What will change is the number of protons. So some of you, if you still get confused that Cl37 दिया है, तो क्या करे? 17 लिखे कि क्या लिखे? Number of neutrons in both cases is the same. Number of protons are going to. Am I talking right? Yeah. 3517 will have. Am I talking right? Yeah. 3517 will have 17 protons and 18. Okay, right. Number of neutrons will change. Yeah. This will have 17 protons and 18 neutrons, Cl35. And this is a Cl37. So number of neutrons, now you have to be again properly observant that it is not the standard chlorine isotope of Cl35. Then the answer would be 18, 17 protons, 18 neutrons. Here, neutrons is 18, 20, not 80. 37 minus 17, 20. So the answer becomes 20. Okay. Now, what are the other probable questions? जैसे न्यूट्रॉन्स पूछे हैं, प्रोटॉन्स पूछ सकते हैं, इलेक्ट्रॉन्स पूछ सकते हैं, different isotopes. Then trends in size across groups and periods can be used. Why the size increases down the group depending upon the shell. So many ways this property of this one periodic trend. What is this one periodic trend? It is the shape of the size of the atom. We have learned 2-3 more periodic trends. तो इसी बहाने सारे periodic trends revise कर देते हैं. Go and refer the syllabus planner और पेपर एनालिसिस पीरियोडिक ट्रेंड्स पे कौन से क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं वो देखो. So you should be able to do a holistic work. You should be able to do a holistic work. Don't just stick to one question and its answer and forget it. Be yourself a paper setter. See, if you yourself become a paper setter, then you will know the beauty of the questions that are set. Suppose one question is set. Among you friends also, if 2-3 friends together you are appearing for the entrance exam, set questions for one another. If you are a group of 3-4, set questions. A sets a question for BCD, B sets it for ACD, and then you cross exchange the questions and cross discuss. You will come to know what was the mistake in your paper setting, question setting, and that will give you a better understanding of what the theory is. When you become a paper setter, when you become a teacher, you know the theory better. When you want to set a question, you're going to read it in depth. टेढ़ा मेढ़ा क्वेश्चन कैसे सेट करना है मुझे. Design most difficult questions for your friends and you will learn so better, so much better. You will learn to look at the theory, the MPI. Okay. Let us move to the next question. Identify from the following list the number of elements which will not react with water in absence of air even at high temperatures. So simply, this is a question based on reactivity series of metals, and the elements which fall below hydrogen will not react with water. So if you know this is one thing that you need to know by heart, reactivity series. Please know it by heart because this will be used in more than one way. Which of the following reaction is possible? They may give you a list of reactions in which the reaction which is not possible, they will place the element that is below in the reactivity series in the atomic stage and the compound in the of the upper element in the molecular stage. And that reaction is not possible because the element is below the other element, so it cannot displace. Okay. So the more reactive element will always displace the less reactive element from its compound state. So you have to know the reactivity series of metals. This is one thing that you're expected to know by heart. I have prepared a small mnemonic for this reactivity series. If that helps you, if not, you can make your own way of remembering the reactivity series. I have made a mnemonic based on the names, not the symbols. Po, so, ka, ma, al, zi, ir, le, hi, ho, me, si, go, la. Potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, lead, hydrogen. Hydrogen becomes a very important element. Copper, this is not cobalt because these are the names. Copper, mercury, silver, gold, platinum. So the elements which are above hydrogen, they will react with water because it is a displacement reaction. If I want some element to displace H from H2O, it has to be more reactive than H. So all the elements that are above H will react with water, and the ones which are below H will not react with water. Obviously, gold, silver, mercury, and helium argon are as it is the non-reactive zero group elements. So they are asking which will not react with water. So if we find which react with water, those which remain do not react with water. Now, note that this is a distinct type of question. And the number of elements is also, this is a very slippery question. See, if you identify 1, 2, 3, and if you miss out lithium, then you will write the answer as 6. So, for these kind of questions, they're very tricky. You make one mistake and your 5 marks are gone. They will give you a list of 10 reactions and they will ask you which of these reactions are possible. These are very, very slippery questions because one reaction, instead of this side, you put it on that side, your answer is going to go wrong. Whatever they ask, reactions that are possible, reactions that are not possible. You should be correct on every reaction, only then your answer can come right. So these are the most dicey, tricky questions, and they really, really test your core understanding of the subject. Whether you are able to zero in on which reaction will take place and which reaction will not, for whatever reasons. Now, every reaction also not going to fall under the same category. Some reaction may or may not take place for a different reason. Some reaction may or may not take place for a different reason. Yes, Manisha? Any doubt? Someone had raised the hand? Vihang, yes. Any doubt?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can you repeat the short form for metal reactivity series? I
Yeah,
got
I've put it
disconnected.
down. I'll scroll it down. And you can make your own mnemonic. You can add a few also. I think barium or something gets added. This was something I made way back and I always remember it. Maybe when I was a student or I had just started teaching. Poso kama alzi aile haiko mesi gopla.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
And if your books are providing some reactivity series in which there are some additional elements, maybe you can add them to the list. Somehow I'm not able to remember the latest list. This is something that is carved on my mind since my student times. So this comes very easily to me. And such mnemonics are great ways to remember things. जे आपल्याला mechanically लक्षात. आता इथे काय माहितीये का? इथे not only order is important, or not only the list is important, their order is also important. This has to be before this and after this. So I can't just remember. Sometimes you just need to remember the group. But sometimes the elements or the aspects in that particular sequence. So two types of memories are needed. Anyway, Now, other questions on this. Instead of elements, they can ask which of the following metals, non-metals that will react with water or react with air or react with oxygen, and such lists in which they will give you reactions, which of them are possible or not possible. This, as I said, will be a very, very tricky question. Now, the next one. What is the total number of hydrogen atoms present as methyl groups of isobutylene molecule? Once again, let me tell that organic chemistry could be one area which you should study thoroughly. Somewhere, some question on mole concept, organic chemistry, periodic table structure, and periodic trends. These could be the most important core topics, but of course you cannot ignore any topic. Acid bases, different types of reactions, everything has its own what you would say significance. And as said, we maintained by the rule that no pattern. Any random questions we will take. We may design the whole paper on organic chemistry. Nobody can question us on that. कि इस पे question क्यों नहीं आया? You have to be thorough with all the topics. That is the only answer. The only commitment that we give to you is that no question will come from anywhere outside these 3, 8, 9, 10 ka syllabus. These 3 into 3, 9 books. Nothing outside of that will come. So you have to be thorough with these 9. Now, the total number of hydrogen atoms present as methyl groups of isobutylene molecule. So first of all, again, isobutylene is a colloquial name. Butylene, ene will tell us the double bond. Iso will tell us that one carbon has 2 carbons associated with it. It is not a straight chain. Straight chain will be butene like this. And isobutylene somewhere, and now अगर 4 carbon का मेरे को iso बनाना है, the only option is that one end carbon will come and attach to the middle carbon of the remaining 3 carbons. Only then I can make it an iso kind of structure. Huh? So isobutylene in IUPAC becomes a chained compound. Isobutylene is a colloquial name of it. In IUPAC, it becomes a branched compound. It is not a straight chain compound, it is a branched compound. And in ISO, this is typically the thing. Now, I can assign this double bond over here or it can be here. That does not make a difference. And then I have to put hydrogen on the remaining carbons. So when I complete it, if I count the number of hydrogens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, they will be the same for any structure. Wherever I put the double bond, whether it is a straight chain or a branch chain compound, it will have the same number of hydrogen atoms. So the ratio of CnH2n does not change, whether it is a normal butene or it is an iso compound. Okay. And then they are asking atoms present, hydrogen atoms on the methyl group. So when they are asking methyl group, yes. Alaukika, what's your doubt?
Ma'am, on the second carbon, why are there 2 double bonds?
No. Either here or here.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
So you can put it like this. Is also iso, or you can put it like this is also iso. And is this and this different or same?
Same.
Same. So how many possible structures we have? 1 and 2 for iso. Either the double bond is in the main chain or it is on the branch. Wherever it is on the main chain, it will mean the same. If you take it from here, okay, now how will you name this compound IUPAC? What will be the IUPAC name of this compound? Let's draw a proper structure. Now, as Alaukikana asked why there is a double bond on both the carbons, is this kind of a structure possible?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
No, it is not.
Why?
Because
Carbon has only
carbon has
four
tetravalency
valency
and
and
five bonds.
here
Ma'am,
5 bonds are there.
carbon can
So
form only four bonds.
if I want double bond in both places, then the story gets over here only. I can't have
Yeah.
one more carbon here. Then it is possible. But if I want one more carbon here, I can have a double bond only on one of the carbons. So if I write my structure like this, now is actually this and this also different or same?
It's different. It is
Same.
different.
Is it same or different?
It's different.
Same.
है ना? Because here I'm writing this chain in a branched form, but is it branched? It is actually straight only, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Here I'm writing it as a straight line. Here I'm writing it in L form. But what is it eventually meaning?
The
Three
longest
carbons
chain
in
is
straight
3.
chain with single bond and double bond on the middle carbon. I write it like this. I write it like this. Or I write it like this. Are all these the same structures?
Yes. Yes.
So will there be two IUPAC names for this or only one IUPAC? Will I have two isotopes of it or only one? In IUPAC, will I have two different names for this and this or only one?
Only one.
Only one name. And what will that name be?
Bute
Methyl
2E.
propene.
Yeah. Only methyl propene?
2-methyl prop 1-ene.
Yes. Now this is actually this is methyl. Methyl here and prop in. Okay. Where is that double bond on it? In which place?
Second,
So how will you name it?
2-methyl propene.
Methyl prop 2E.
2
2-methyl
methyl
prop
prop 2
1-ene.
in. Yeah. It is on second carbon, right? It will be prop 2 in. 2 methyl prop 2 in. The double bond is on the second carbon. Okay. So now coming back to our original question, they are asking hydrogen atoms on methyl group. So we must know that this is not a methyl group. Methyl is CH3. So how many hydrogens are there in the form of CH3? Now they are not asking how many methyl groups are there. Your answer would be 2. If they ask how many hydrogens are attached to one methyl group, your answer becomes 3. If they ask totally how many hydrogen atoms are attached, your answer becomes 8. So see all one-digit answers. And here they are asking how many hydrogen atoms are present as methyl groups, your answer becomes 6. This and this. So within that one, first of all, this structure I have drawn. It will not be given to you. So you have to draw the structure of isobutylene and then all these questions are possible on it. How
Ma'am,
many double? Sorry?
ma'am, in the diagram you had drawn, you had wrote HCH3 and given a double bond to the C. So that would be 5 bonds, which is not possible.
No, that we already discussed, no? That if we, if this is C, 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 double bond C, then this will be CH2 and this will be CH3 and CH. That will be the structure in
Yes.
whichever form you draw it. Okay. And now, okay, now it will not be 2-methyl 2-propene, it will be 2-methyl 1-propene. because you are going to select the chain with the double bond in it. This will not be your parent chain. This will be your parent chain where a double bond is between C1 and C2. There are two ways in which you can number it: C1, C2, C3. So the double bond can be between C2, C3 or C1, C2. You have to choose C1, C2.
Yes, ma'am.
And then two methyl attached. So it will be 2 methyl prop 1 in and not 2 in. 2 methyl prop 1 in. Because a double bond, you have to always choose a parent chain with the double bonds and triple bonds. So I cannot make this a parent chain. This has to be a parent chain such that lowest numbers come on the double bond. So it will be C1, C2, C3, methyl attached to C2, prop 1 in. That will be the IUPAC. So this opens a full petara of IUPAC nomenclature. With this question, revise all the rules of IUPAC, try to name all different compounds, different functional groups. What are the structures of those functional groups? How will you place them? What are the first 2-3 members of the series of all that? Full thing can be revised with just one question. So with one paper, you will revise all those topics which come around that particular question. Now, this is again a question based on very basic understanding of early atoms of periodic table. So this is a complete theory-based question. If you have read your lessons correctly, you must know that Eka aluminum is gallium. And now you need not remember the atomic number of gallium. You will find it in the important information or useful information above. This is here a big story is given. He named the undiscovered elements as Eka, which show a resemblance with the chemical and physical properties, etc., etc. For example, element X kept in modern periodic table was named as Eka aluminum by Mendeleev. Identify X and write its atomic number. So what they're in short asking you कि aluminum के नीचे जो element आएगा उसका atomic number क्या है? You need not know the name of it also. If you know the structure of periodic table, aluminum is in the 3rd period and 13th group. So aluminum, below that, whatever comes will come via the 4th period and the D block. So till the 1st and 2nd period, the element that falls one below the other, the difference in their atomic number is only +8. Is only +8. For example, hydrogen, then you have helium, then whatever comes below hydrogen and whatever comes below helium, the difference in the atomic number is only 8. Lithium to sodium, only 8. But sodium to potassium, difference is still 8 because 3rd to 4th. But potassium to cesium, it becomes 18. Because the D block gets added, which will raise. And this is exactly how Mendeleev's periodic table got converted into modern periodic table. And that A and B groups were sorted when the introduction of D block was done. So you have to know that aluminum is in the 3rd period and the element that comes below aluminum will be in the 4th period. So it will come across 4s1, 4s2 and 10 elements of the D block. So it will be aluminum ka jo bhi hai plus 18 and not 8. So if you know, they have clearly given Eka aluminum. They have also given that the element was placed below, Eka was placed below the known element. तो इससे ज़्यादा hint क्या हो सकती है? The atomic number of aluminum will be present in the useful information above. So even if this is given or not given, they are not asking you the name of that element. They are asking you the atomic number of that element which will be called Ekal medium. So all that you need to know is that my answer is 13 plus 18. So simply looking at periodic table as a picture and learning these small nuances, understand the anomalies of Mendeleev, understand the anomalies of the early attempts of Dobereiner triads. They may give you, in a triad, they may give you two elements and ask you the atomic number of the third. Then you have to know whether that third is between these two or on the top or on the bottom by looking at the atomic numbers of the given. So you must know that the average of the first and third gives us the middle. So by looking at the values of atomic numbers given, even if you don't know them, if your memory is strong and if you are among those who are going to score full marks in school, then by now you will know all the Dobereiner triads and everything by heart. Newland's octaves, what comes under what, everything you will know by heart. But even if you don't know, MPI doesn't expect you to by heart things, but it expects you to understand the concept. So if you have landed on Mendeleev now, ये एक के साथ just take a quick look at what other abnormalities or what other salient features of Mendeleev are given, which were the elements that he swapped. In spite of having a higher atomic mass, it was placed before an element having a low atomic mass. He did for argon and potassium. There, I think he did it for cobalt and nickel. Many places he
Yes.
has done this. He has swapped the elements, even if it was having a higher atomic number, because where he kept the element, it fitted better property. So revise karo Mendeleev. एक question देख के don't wait. Then if you are revising Mendeleev, also revise Dobereiner and Newland. Also quickly take a look at the salient features of periodic table. God knows which rule will be used in designing which question, which small property of some element, जैसे amphoteric आ गया. अब जिन्होंने पढ़ा है aluminum is amphoteric, for them it is a 30-second question. जिन्होंने नहीं पढ़ा है वो या तो कुछ guess कर देंगे या तो बहुत सोचते रह जाएंगे फिर amphoteric कहाँ आएगा ये वो. So there are some questions which you can bag on the basis of your good reading and memory. But there will be some questions which will be clueless if you're just banking on your memory. If you're just banking on the reading of questions and by hearting the answers and definition and blah blah, you will be clueless for some questions, particularly in physics and maths. Chemistry, to fir bhi it is, I may say 50% is theory based. If you've read the lessons well, you will have some hint towards the answers. But physics and maths, unless you know the core application, those who attended Prashant Sir's lecture, how you decode a problem. Physics problem is like entering into the fort. And you may go around the fort, goal, but you will not know from where to enter. That is very important in cracking physics problems. So you have to be a good student, all in all. Okay, so this was about this question. Then once again, question based on organic. How many CH2 groups are present in pentan 2-one? So simply, you must know the structure of pentan one. So one will be which functional group. Always know that ketones. Always know that ones, ketones, will never come at terminal carbons. When it comes on terminal carbon, it becomes al. If a double bond O is attached on the terminal carbon, it becomes an aldehyde. So aldehyde, al will never come in the middle carbon, because if that al keto group comes on the middle carbon, it becomes ketone. And if that C double bond O comes on the corner group, it becomes an aldehyde. So you cannot have aldehyde when the O is attached in some middle carbon. You cannot have ketone when O is attached to the terminal. You cannot have carboxylic acid on any groups except terminal carbon. COOH, dicarboxylic acids also, there will be one COOH here, one COOH there. So aldehyde and carboxylic acids will always be present on the terminal carbons. Ketones will always be present on the middle carbon. This is very, very specific. So ones you will never get on बीच का कोई carbon. So pentan, what are they saying? 2-one, as such a very simple structure to draw. But how many CH2 groups they are saying? Now, when we draw the structure, we can see that when a carbonyl group is attached to the second carbon, then this becomes a CH2 group. This becomes a CH2 group, and the two terminal becomes CH3 groups. So there will be only two CH2 groups when the one is attached to C2. So simply you need to know how to draw the correct structure. And if you've really mastered how to draw the structure, this is actually a 30 seconds question or maximum 1 minute question. With this, you can now try some other homologs of ketones, homologs of aldehydes. Make a list of all functional groups now that you've landed on the ketone. Make a list of all functional groups and understand first 3-4 members of that. Make a table of it and paste it on your table. Then facts like this, that you cannot have an alkene or alkyne with one carbon atom. Whatever strikes to you out of the box, make a note of it somewhere, highlight it somewhere. Behave as if you have to design a paper और फिर कौन से खड्डे में से क्या ढूंढ के निकाल. It is like a tug of war between the paper setters and the student. We will try and find small information. Metallurgy also. You have the metallurgy of, I think, aluminium you have, and what other? Iron है क्या दूसरा? Manufacture of aluminium and iron. So whatever steps in the metallurgy, extraction of aluminium from alumina, small steps, catalysts, temperatures, then structure of the furnaces, the material used for furnaces, intermediate reactions, intermediate products, the state of those products, purity of sample, everything, any small point from there, we will pick it up and we will frame it into a question. And you will not be able to question us. Every year we have students coming and asking that this question is not from the syllabus. So we have to actually take them to the textbook and then show that, yes, this was a question from your syllabus only. So you have to become like a CID with microscopic lenses. You have to look into the theory और छोटे parts में से कैसे question design हो सकता है. By now, and of course, don't ignore your 9th standard, 8th standard book also. Many a times what happens is because you're preparing for the 10th board, you're thorough with the 10th standard textbook. But you overlook 8th and 9th feeling के अभी 10th आया तो 8th 9th तो आ ही गया है. No, there will be some cheeky facts from 8th and 9th which you have probably forgotten now, and we may frame a question on that. So you can do one thing, start with any board, preferably SSC. But if you are a CBSE or ICSE student, you can start with your own board book. Thoroughly finish that first and then take the cross look of the syllabus planner that I have given. That you finish reading from one whole board, one whole book, and then you can take one topic and then read it from your board, SSC, and the third board, whatever. So it will be good if you go topic wise. But first, all chapters of any one board and then topic wise. Careful reading. Okay, now here, next. Element X, are we on the ninth question? That is fantastic. Yeah. Element X is the most electropositive element of period 4 from modern periodic table. So we must know that it is the leftmost element, the most metallic element. And period 4, either you must know that it is potassium if you know the element, or you can simply find the atomic number of that element. Because it is the group 1 period 4 element, you can compute the atomic number if you know how you will jump from helium to lithium to sodium to potassium. Now, no, sorry, helium, nahi, hydrogen. Hydrogen to lithium to sodium to potassium. Now, what are they asking? What is the total number of neutrons in the cation formed by X to achieve a stable configuration of its nearest noble gas? So first of all, I must know that this is the element which is potassium. You know it, then you already know that its configuration is 2881. It has 19 protons. But what are they asking? What is the total number of neutrons? How will you find this total number of neutrons? If you know the atomic mass of the element yourself, you can directly do 39 minus 19. And why we expect you to know the atomic mass? Because in Mendeleev, we have done it so many times that the argon, which was having atomic mass 40, was placed before potassium with atomic mass 39. This we have done in Mendeleev. And you may find this in the useful elements, useful information above also. Even if you don't remember the name, you should know that it is the element with atomic number 19, and then you can trace it from the useful information above. But it will not be a very, what you will say, difficult to know the atomic mass, because we have done these numbers very specifically in Mendeleev's abnormalities. So you know the atomic mass is 39 and the atomic number is 19. The number of protons in K will be 39 minus 19, that is 20. And they are asking the number of number of neutrons will be 20. And they are asking the number of neutrons in the cation formed. Number of neutrons in the cation formed. My God, कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. दया, ढूंढो. What happens when K turns into K plus? It loses this outermost electron. So what is the electronic configuration of the cation? It becomes 288. What is the number of electrons in the cation? 18. But what is the number of protons in the cation or the neutrons in the cation? Have they changed? No. So this is simply information to distract you or to confuse you. Whether it is the atom or whether it is the cation, the number of protons and neutrons is not going to change. What will change? Number of electrons will change, number of shells will change, electronic configuration will change, charge will change. But the nuclear configuration does not change in case of an atom getting converted into an ion. Suppose oxygen becomes O2 minus. What will change? Number of electrons will change. It was 2,6, now it will become 2,8. The number of electrons will go from 8 to 10. But the number of protons in the nucleus are going to remain 8 only. Number of neutrons are going to remain the same only. If there are two isotopes of oxygen, then the number of neutrons will change. Please don't get confused by such informations that अभी cation दिया है तो उसको यूज करना ही होगा. अगर मैं यूज नहीं कर रहा हूं तो I am making some mistake. No. Sometimes some information is given just to confuse you, just to check whether you have really understood or who's getting confused. Is anybody writing the answer 19 in place of 20? Because अभी कैटायन है, बहुत होशियार है, mg का कैटायन है तो 2 माइनस कर डाला. Nothing will change for proton. So you have to be very sure about your basic concepts. Don't get confused in that. If you're see, chemistry is little favorable for those students who have a good memorization. It is a little more theoretical topic, not as application as physics and math. It will fall between physics and biology. Biology is much more theoretical. Physics is much more application. Chemistry will be somewhere in between. Now, similarly, as I always said, some specific information about some elements, if you can remember, that may be directly or indirectly used. Okay, now one more slippery question. Identify the total number of possible chemical reactions. So various parameters will be used over here to identify if a reaction will take place or no for more than one. The first reaction, Cu plus 2HCl, is it possible or no?
No, ma'am.
No. Why not?
Because Cu is less reactive as compared to hydrogen.
Correct. अभी reactivity series by heart कर दिया हमने. Copper lies below hydrogen. Hyco में से गोपला. So the element that is falling below hydrogen cannot replace H from HCl, particularly when this is given dilute. This is also to be taken into account. Okay. So once again, you must know where it will react with concentrated or dilute or no. But with dilute HCl, it most definitely does not react. It reacts with concentrated HCl because it is just below hydrogen. But we are not doing that reaction right now. But this reaction is not possible. What about this B?
Is not possible
Why?
because carbon is not a part of the reactants.
Yeah, first of all, the reaction is galat hai. There is no carbon monoxide. So this is a wrongly written, and even if we take it as a printing mistake, instead of CO, even if you take it as CuO, if it was CuO, will it take place?
No.
It won't.
No. Once again, copper falls below zinc in the reactivity series, so it cannot displace zinc from zinc oxide. So this is also not. What about this MnO2 plus HCl forms MnCl2 plus H2O plus Cl? Is it possible?
No, ma'am, I don't think so.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, it is possible.
It will be a simple double displacement reaction where MnO2 will break, HCl will break. And what is this? Yes, Alaukika?
Ma'am, so do we count it to be possible if it isn't balanced?
No. See, understand here, chemical reaction from the following unbalanced
Okay,
chemical equations. So we are not taking the criteria of balanced equation. This is not a balanced equation actually, but we are just focusing on the chemistry aspect of it, whether these two reactants will react with each other and form a product. So specifically it is given unbalanced equation. So don't rule it out because it is not balanced. Okay. Just see whether it is chemically possible for MnO2 to react with HCl, and the answer is yes, this can take place. Then is this possible? Calcium carbonate?
Yes.
Yes, it is possible. We know it very well. On heating calcium carbonate, this is an example of thermal decomposition reaction. This is, you can say, reactions with acid This is also not a typical double decomposition reaction because we are forming three products over here. In double decomposition, it is A plus B forming C plus D. So we have typically two reactants and two products. So this is a reaction of acid with a metal oxide. What about this?
It's not
possible.
Not possible. Because copper will lie below iron. Ulta possible. Fe plus CuSO4 can form FeSO4 plus Cu, but this reaction is not possible. What about this?
It is possible.
It is possible.
Impossible.
It is possible.
Yes. Formation of carbonic acid. What about this? BaSO4 plus ZnCl2 forming ZnSO4 plus BaSO4.
Not possible.
PL is not there.
One reason is that it is
CL
not
नाही.
CL दिलाच नाहीये इकडे. पण once again जर का आपण उलट म्हटलं की अगदी दिलं असेल की ZnSO4 plus BaCl2 म्हटलं तरी पॉसिबल आहे का नाहीये?
I think, ma'am, it is.
No, ma'am. Precipitate is forming product state. Product.
See, understand very, very important thing that for double decomposition reactions, two qualities are must. Both the reactants have to be electrolytes and soluble in water because they break into the consecutive ions in water. And if they do not dissolve in water, they will not form their respective ions and they cannot cross. So one condition for double decomposition is that they have to be aqueous reactions. Both double decomposition are always aqueous reactions. Second, both the reactants have to be soluble in water. One of the product can be insoluble and then that insoluble product becomes the precipitate. One of the product can be a gas and then that becomes a gaseous product. But the reactants both have to be soluble. A downward arrow indicates that it is an insoluble substance. And with an insoluble substance, we cannot have a double decomposition because in water, this will not break into barium ions and sulfate ions and thus this cross product is not possible. So for double decomposition, essentially, both the reactants have to be soluble. The reaction has to be in aqueous medium. If nothing of that is given, either of it is not there, the reaction will not take place. What about this? CaO plus H2O, will it take place?
Possible reaction.
Possible.
Ma'am,
What
possible.
about? Not possible?
Possible.
Possible.
It is.
It is simply conversion of quicklime to lime water. No? CO is quicklime. No? Always be perfect. Okay. What about this? SO2 plus H2O forms H2O plus S. Is this a possible reaction?
Yes, ma'am.
It is possible. Both are gases. They will react with each other to form metallic sulfur, which will settle down, and water which will be formed. And the last is the typical reaction picked up from oleum. Okay, this is a reaction. All the other reactions I found in your regular books, and the oleum wala reaction I found in sulfuric acid in ICSC. So I have written the reference. So see, this one reaction can turn the tables. You know all the above reactions and you have not read this ICSC chapter of oleum. You will not know whether this reaction takes place or not. If by fluke you consider it takes place and you consider it as countable, then you are lucky to get the answer correct. But if you put it on the other side, की असं कसं होईल, what is this H2SO7, हे compounders existing नाहीये, जर का तुम्ही oleum वाचलं नसेल. What is oleum? H2SO7, it is dehydrated sulfuric acid. Okay, let's do it. H2SO4 plus H2SO4 काय होणार? H4S2O8. मायनस वॉटर केलं की काय होणार आहे बघा. H2S2O7. So H2S2O7 is the dehydrated sulfuric acid, disulfuric acid. So if I simply add water to it, I'm going to get this. जसं आपलं water of crystallization आहे की नाही, anhydrous copper sulfate and copper sulfate crystals. If I heat copper sulfate crystals, CuSO4H2O, 5H2O, if I simply heat it in a crucible, water will evaporate out and the blue crystals will turn into anhydrous copper sulfate, which is a white amorphous powder. Now to this white amorphous powder, if I add a few droplets of water, it will immediately turn blue because it will take the water of crystallization and it will turn into crystal. Same आहे इकडे की सल्फ्युरिक ऍसिड जर का आपण डिहायड्रेट केलं म्हणजे बॉईल केलं, त्यातलं पाणी जर आपण कम काढून टाकलं तर आपल्याला H2O7 ओलियम मिळतं, which is a concentrated form of sulfuric acid. सल्फ्युरिक ऍसिडने जेवढे बर्न्स होत नाहीत त्याच्या कितीतरी पट ओलियमने होतात. इट्स अ व्हेरी डेंजरस कंपाऊंड टू हँडल. बट द मोमेंट यू ऍड वॉटर टू इट, यू आर गोइंग टू गेट सल्फ्युरिक ऍसिड. So those who've not read this part of the theory from ICSE, and I did not find it in SSC book anywhere. I don't know if I have missed it out and it is there somewhere, but somehow when I was digging into, when I was tracking each of this question from question to the theory, I could not find this part in any of the SSC books, but I found it in ICSE in Pune. So this one question can be your काय म्हणू, spoiler. If you have not read this, वरचे सगळे येत असले तरी तुमचा पत्ता कट होतो आणि आन्सर एकाने जरी चुकलं तरी रॉंग इज रॉंग, राईट इज राईट. So this is how the game will go. That finishes our paper 1. We still have some time. So if someone has any doubt in this paper or in general, you can ask.
Ma'am, actually, due to some issue, my previous question has not written. So can I, means can you?
Yeah. Which one? 9th? 10th ka 9th?
Question
9th का?
from. नाही मॅम,
मग
पहिलेचेच क्वेश्चन आलेले आहे काही 8
पहिले
पर्यंत,
का?
4th
अच्छा
पर्यंत.
अच्छा.
ऍक्च्युली मी स्क्रीनशॉट घेतो आणि मग डिव्हाइस प्रॉब्लेम माहिती की
Take down.
मॅम कॅन यू शो क्वेश्चन नंबर 2?
Yeah.
अरे ते लिहिलेले आहेत ना. Study plan. Then please show me only study
The
plan.
other things I will send. Syllabus planner I will send on the group. But then smart tips and paper analysis. These 3 documents I'll send out. So that you need not take down. You can
Okay.
prepare similar syllabus planner
Okay.
for physics and maths if you feel that this is a good way to study and you get sorted with that. असा गोंधळ नाही होत की काय करू काय नको. मग कारण प्रश्न आहे ना तो हॉलिस्टिक अंडरस्टँडिंग वर येणार एखाद्या टॉपिकच्या. त्यामुळे ते हॉलिस्टिक अंडरस्टँडिंग तुम्ही जर का तो टॉपिक फिजिक्सला सुद्धा तुम्ही आता समजा साऊंड करताय तर डिग इट डाऊन टू 8th स्टँडर्ड ना. 8वी पर्यंत तुम्ही काय साऊंड शिकलायत कुठपासनं पहिल्यापासनं तिथपासनं तुम्ही करा ना.
Ma'am, please can you show question number 3? Ma'am, for question number 4, please.
You are supposed to write it down. Why you're taking snaps and screenshots?
Ma'am, actually writing takes a lot of time, that's why. And
So it's as good as sharing the presentation, na? That was not expected. You were expected to
I will take
understand the
in.
question and write it down. It's okay now.
Ma'am, please question number 5. Ma'am, can you show question number 6?
Not fair. It's as good as sharing the presentation, which we are not planning to do, Baba.
Just ma'am, just one question remaining. After that, I have noted.
After that, you have already taken the screenshot, right? You were expected to see the question and learn from it, not take screenshots.
Thank you, ma'am, and sorry for the disturbance.
Yeah. Okay. Any other doubts? This is how we expect you to backtrack all the questions, even if the solution is given. For rest of the papers, I think except from 2017 to 2020, the solutions are there on the website. 2017 to 20, it's just the answer key given. So best you can start is with the given solutions. You can backtrack the papers, and then you can start your own study. Plan the next 10-15 days, whatever you have in your hand. Today is what? Thursday. So next Sunday, next to next Sunday, you have the exam, na? So you have pretty many days. So can we stop for today? I will send the paper analysis to you. Just calendar to now. If there are any other doubts in general also, you can ask. I don't mind holding for some minutes more. Today is 11th, so you have full 2 weeks and more, 2 days. Not a less time at all. If you plan properly, already the guidelines are there. Prashant sir has given some guidelines for physics. I'm giving some general guidelines now. Your Saturday maths lecture, sir will give you some further guidelines. What is there on page 46, oleum?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. I surfed it, but I could not find it. Because generally it doesn't happen that it is not there in the SSC. So I was a little surprised. The SSC person. But I thought maybe the paper setters have picked up something which is not there in SSC, and they want to ensure how many of the students have written essays, read essays. Good, if it is there in SSC, even I'll check. Thank you for the information. All right. Was this useful to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Some good guidelines, tips, orientation. कसा वाचायचा, धडा कसा वाचायचा, तिथपासून सुरुवात आहे. की धडा वाचायचा शाळेसाठी आपण वाचतो त्याच्यापेक्षा खूप वेगळ्या पद्धतीने तुम्हाला वाचायला लागणार आहे धडा. हे लक्षात घ्या. Right. You must know how to read a particular chapter. Right. Can we stop for today? No other doubts? We will end today's meeting. Saturday, you will have your math session. Okay. Next Thursday, we will discuss 30th April 2023 ka paper in the same fashion. In the meanwhile, if you are already geared up now, you can start doing it by yourself in the same fashion. Instead of taking screenshots, maybe you keep your notes ready, and then you can ask some further doubts. You know, instead of me doing these things, if you tell me, ki, ma'am, we have done these questions, this is my doubt now, you can extract more and more out of us in this time. And even after our course is over, in the remaining days, if you have some doubt, you can always call and get in touch on the group or in person, not an issue. All right, that is for today. Bye and good night.